Hello, YouTubers. So, welcome to Cooking with John. So, I wanted to share with you. I just harvested a whole tray of buckwheat. Doesn't it look yummy? Would you just love to be here right now? Um, I want to show you my smoothie that I make. So, I'm using, the buckwheat. I could use sunflower or anything else, but the thing with the buckwheat is that it roots itself from the seed, and then it sends the kernel up. Go ahead, make a liar out of me. Um, it sends the kernel up on the stalk, and then eventually it will eject the kernel. However, it doesn't always inject the kernel. So it might send the stalk up and not kick it off. So if I'm processing these for the farm stand, I gotta go through and clean those out. So I'll throw them in the pail of water, and then I'll throw them in the pail of water, and then I'll sift through the tray of greens, or maybe a couple of trays of greens, until I find all of those and take them out. And it's an old crone sifting over a cauldron, and it's very time intensive. So I'm just thinking that I'm just going to. Buckwheat is supposed to be very high in nutrition. It's got a lot of vitamins, minerals in them, and supposed to be one of those superfoods for sustainability. Except for the fact that you don't grow. You only each seed is one of these. So um, the next thing I'm using is this here. And this I get from the farm stand. I ordered a case of 2 cases, so I got 12 quarts for a little less than $60. So it's $5 a quart. It's Side Hill Farm. This is no commercial now. Side Hill Farm, plain yogurt, grass-fed. It's from local cows. Happy cows, they say. They say they're happy cows. Yep. And it's not from BJ's or someplace like that that you just don't know, where it comes from. So I'm using some yogurt. The other thing I'm doing is I'm using, because they had it in the store, is, I've done juicing myself. You could probably see it over there in the background if you look really close behind the spaghetti and the marshmallows. Oh, I wish there were marshmallows there. There's a juicer over there, Beetle. I'm very happy with it, but it's time intensive, extremely time intensive, and you get a lot of waste, um, which is what it is. This stuff here is the kale blazer, so it doesn't have any added sugar in it, and it's all mostly vegetables, and it has some apple and some citrus in it. I'd rather have it without the citrus, but it's probably the closest thing to all vegetables. Um, I get it at BJ's, fairly inexpensive. I think it's like $7 or maybe even 6 at the moment, which is really cheap compared to what we're talking. The biggest problem with juicing kale um, is the moisture. You really need to harvest it and juice it, because all the moisture gets out of the kale very quickly. When you so in juicing, you gotta have moisture in the veggies in order, because that's where the juice is coming from. And if I go to a grocery store and buy kale, the stuff's dry. If you're cooking it any other way, your soups or sautéing and stuff, it's different. But if you're using it for juice, you want as much moisture in those leaves and the stalk as you can, so that you can get nutrition out of it. Now, if you do it through the crushing one, the ones that have the augers, it might be different. But with the ones that use the spinning disc, you need to have moisture in there, and that's the biggest problem. And you really need kale. So you know, I could do, you know, a whole box that I get from the farm stand of kale, and I get about a quart of kale juice, which isn't really a lot when you really think about it, because it probably costs $20 for that case. So those are my three. The other ingredients is some blueberries, which I didn't grab out of the freezer. I'll have to grab that. So here is my blender. It's probably going to be a long video. How can it not be? Because I just like to yak. You know, the cats don't talk back, but then again, neither do you guys. So, you know, I get a few comments out there. So I'm going to put in about that much. Now, if I didn't have the kale juice, what I'd do is I'd probably just use water. I could use milk. I've used coconut water, coconut milk, not coconut water. But, you know, that kind of works too. But, you know, so I put that in first because you need the water at the bottom. And then I put that. Now, the first one I made with the yogurt, I did half a quart. And I said, well, if I do a half a quart every time, I'm going to be through this stuff in no time. So, now I'm mostly doing yogurt because it gives me some protein, and it gives me the acidophilus stuff, which is good for, you know what. So, those are those. Pardon me for walking out of the frame for a minute. I'm going to keep yakking because you just love to hear my voice. And grab some blueberries out of the freezer. Now, the first time I did this, I grabbed a big handful of the blueberries, and now I end up with a blue hand. So now I'm going to just put in like maybe about a cup. I'd like to put more in, but you know, I probably don't need to. Now, my first smoothie is I got one of those, you know, those mini blender thingies that are supposed to be, you see on the info commercial. I bought it at Big Lots, and I put everything in there, and it goes gurgle, 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 gurgle. So I said, what am I going to do now? I got everything in there. I put it in this old blender, and it works. So I guess if I don't have anything really chewy to chew on, like kale, this works. Now take a look at this. You see the cup? It's a cup. Look at that, huh? Yep, it's going to taste green, and it's going to taste yummy. And it's not going to be really, really sweet, because the only thing in there I put in there has any kind of sugar in it is a little bit out of the kale blazer and the blueberries. But being diabetic, I don't want sweet. I could put some syrup in there, maple syrup or some honey, or I don't need it. I know I'm getting that big thing of, I should weigh it, but it's about a tray. And a tray gives me about, it's probably about 6 or 8 ounces of, um, of greens. And you can't get better than that, can you? And if anybody has suggestions, I'll be more than happy to hear it. Like, subscribe, dance a little around the room a little bit. I'm up for anything. Anything, anything. You see a mouse around somewhere? That's the problem with wireless mouses. You don't always know where you leave them. We want to get right